Greetings and welcome to episode 174 of the Words About Gamescast, the weekly video game podcast for words about games. I'm your host, Amy Alexander. I'm joined this week by Keith Robinson.
Indeed you are.
Indeed I am.
Indeed you are.
What a surprise. Me and Keith doing the podcast together.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. How are you, Keith?
Perfectly perturbed.
What's got you perfectly perturbed?
I've been playing Control. I love it.
I knew you would. It's so cool. But yes, perfectly perturbed is a good way to describe the feeling of playing that game. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. How far in are you?
I've just started doing a side quest. I don't want to give spoilers, but I'm just starting a side quest where you got to figure out how to deal with the mold in the basement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I should be like running off looking for my brother, but
Yeah.
because that's the point where I know that's the point where I am. It's like I really should go. Oh, that's where he is. Right.
Cool.
I'm gonna go check on the scientist to find out about this mold stuff.
Did somebody say we had a mold problem? Yeah, that can't be that bad. I'll sort
Yeah,
that out.
2 patches and stuff, and I'm like, this kind of looks like that, like scene in like Doctor Strange where he gets knocked out of his body and sent around the dimension. If it was mold,
Yeah, I like that. And he just goes.
one of the
It's a shame they put it in the trailer.
yeah.
I've been playing Astral Chain.
Now, how was that, Amy?
It's okay, I guess.
She says food with the teeth.
Oh, right. Here's the thing, right? It's a platinum game, yeah.
Yeah.
So the combat is wonderful. Like you've got you've got your thing. You've got your what do they call it? The Bex baton, which is a baton that transforms into a pistol that also transforms into a giant fuck off sword, because of course it does. It's a Japanese action game, and like the whole gimmick is like based on the name Astral Chain. Like you're fighting demons, but you've got a demon captured and it's on a chain, and like you sort of half control it. And you can do some really cool shit. Like if an enemy charges you, you can like hold the left trigger button. I don't know what it's called on the Switch controller. And like you send him across, you send your dude across, and then like you wrap him up in the chain, and you just fucking throw him across. Like shit like that is fucking great. But there's so many cutscenes that I do not care about happening. Like we did this, I say we, like I did this awesome action sequence at the beginning of the game. So at the end of chapter 2, it was fantastic. And then you go back to base, and it's like, yo, you gave us quite a scare, blah blah blah, exposition. And I was like, cool, like exposition. Oh, there's a new training file for you in the basement. I was like, cool, because you've just unlocked a bunch of new stuff. At the end of chapter 2, I was like, cool, I'll go and see what's up with all these new moves. And then I had to spend the next half an hour wandering around the headquarters with this woman in a giant puppy police dog costume being all like, hey, you should go check out every single room in the building to see what it does. No, I don't want to do that.
So these cutscenes you've been comparing, it's not trying to get you a waifu or a husband though. It is all sort of yes.
It's like this is the. It's like they could just drop a thing on the map like this. This is the tech department. This is where you go upgrade your weapon. Cool. No, it's like a 5-minute thing, and it's literally like quest, talk to this person. Quest, talk to that person 2 meters away. Quest, come back to talk to this person, and then like dog lady's talking at me.
Yeah, I seem to remember thinking wow about that. Was like here's a quest to go to the flight master. Then the flight master gives you like a crate of stuff to give the innkeeper. It told you where everyone was.
It's like that, and it's like I was early in the game, and it's shown me around, and hopefully like it gets less. But then you go from that, and you go into a mission, and the missions you don't fight at the beginning of the missions. What you do is you do police investigations. So you go into this dinky little hub world, and you do police investigations. You do the most boring part of a police person's job. You canvass witnesses. You examine crime scenes. So you activate detective mode in the level that I'm just doing. It's like, this drone Oh, you talk to the police officer. Okay, yep, cool. The drone got stuck up there. I don't even know how it got up there. It's cool. I've got a demon on a chain. I can get it down. There you go. Oh, it looked like it got shot. Hey, let's examine the area and figure out where it got shot from. Oh, it got shot from midair. Oh, cool. So here's one impact point. Here's another impact point. Now you've got to examine both impact points. Okay, I've just examined both impact points. Oh, that unlocked 14% of the investigation. Cool. Oh, I'll climb up this ladder and there's some kids. Solve the kids' riddle. Which one of the 5 kids is lying? And I'm just like,
It's beginning to sound a bit more like Barry Allen, the Arkham series.
I just want to beat demons up with the sword. I just want to beat demons up with the sword. That part of the game is really cool. The investigation part, not so much. I'm not having fun, Keith. I'm not having fun. I get why people are raving about this game, but like, those bits are just like so boring. Like, oh, there's corruption everywhere. If you hold the trigger down and then control your demon, you can hoover it up with him. Like, you literally move him across it. So I'm stopping every 20 seconds to stand still and make my demon run over the red stuff. And then we keep going. And it's just like, you see why this could be... this. And everybody loves Astral Chain. So if I say this like in public, which I guess I just did, they'll all be like, yeah, you're stupid. And I'll be like, no, you're all stupid. Busy work. Why do games have so much busy work these days?
To extend the life of the game.
It's like you're talking about a side quest in Control where you're going to do the mold problem. And that's the opposite of what I'm talking about in Astral Chain, where that sounds kind of boring, but having done that quest, nope.
I have just discovered these things where I'll be running around somewhere and it'll tell us to go back to a place I've already done to do some sort of timed quest. You got like 20 minutes to do something. And I'm like, what's this? I went back, killed like 5 guys, and it unlocked like the upgrade for one of my guns, and I'm like,
Yeah. All I'm doing is like, find the graffiti artist, and you find the graffiti artist and he runs away, but it's super easy to stop people because you have a demon on a chain, so you just wrap him around the thing and he gets stuck.
You just keep on about this chain or this demon on the end of it, and all I can think of chain chomp.
It's fantastic. Like, when you're fighting, it's amazing. Like, the things you can do, like, you can send your demon across to attack, and then you can hit the trigger, and it'll pull you in, and you do, like, a special move on it. It's great. It's just... Although, if there was a skin for having a chain chomp on it, I'd be down for that. That would be pretty funny. Like, I went the customization option, because it was like, hey, you can change the color of your... I think it's called a Legion. Like, you can change the color of your Legion. And I'm like, awesome. They're all set color patterns, and none of them are unlocked. Boo. Boo. Why did you send me here? You sent me to this terminal. And the only other thing you can do on this terminal is maintenance. And I was like, oh, cool. Maybe I can upgrade my Legion. No, you literally spin your Legion around, right? And you you move the analog stick to aim the cursor, and it's got like corruption on it, and you have to tap the button loads to clean the corruption off. But the Legion's moving in the menu. It's literally moving up and down. So it's like, I'm trying to get its head, and like its head just keeps moving up and down, and I'm just like,
don't you send it to hoover up corruption? So is this like sending a robot into a tile of toxic waste?
yeah,
Cleaning it all up, and then
you have to clean it off, and it's just... I just want to hit things with my sword. Maybe I just cut that part out of the podcast and just use that as my impressions video. But no, I will write one. I like it, but I also kind of hate it. So that probably balances out. For anyone who doesn't know, this is the Words About Gamescast. Every week, Keith and I sit down and discuss 5 stories centered around gaming culture, and the industry.
Some interruption in the intro section, which will be different every week.
Over the past 7 days. This week, we discussed last week's Nintendo Direct presentation, NBA 2K20's loot boxes, which are totally not gambling, indie dev Chucklefish responding to allegations it took advantage of unpaid volunteers, Valve talking about its past comments regarding Metro Exodus's exclusivity, and BioWare committing to Anthem's future. As always, there are timestamps in the description below the video on YouTube, so you can watch this video in any order you want. And we can't stop you. Go nuts. Watch it backwards. Roll dice to see which section you watch in what order. A D6 will do it, because there'll be 6 timestamps. Also, we're recording this podcast super early because we're doing a live stream. 24-hour charity live stream. That'll have already happened by the time you see this, and it's going to be fun. You know, blindfold Ross and make him play Super Mario Maker 2. Because that was the game you all voted for. Quite emphatically on that particular category. Should we dive in?
Yeah.
Let's dive in. Number 1, Nintendo Direct September. That's what I wrote. There was a Nintendo Direct. I love the way Nintendo announces Directs. They're like, there's a Direct. And you're like, oh, cool. When? And they're like, tomorrow. And you're like, ah, shit. I'm busy and won't be able to watch this. Like,
Patrick did, though.
Patrick did. I mean, I watched it after the fact. I managed to avoid all spoilers. To watch it, like, live, but not live. Like, I watched it with going in. The only thing I knew about was Overwatch. Because it turns out going onto the Overwatch League subreddit wasn't safe from spoilers, which is fair, I guess. But it was one of those things where I was like, I'm avoiding like reading people's tweets, and I'm avoiding Facebook, and I'm avoiding YouTube. I am totally safe from spoilers. I'll just go on the Overwatch League website, Reddit, because, you know, it's the playoffs, the grand finals this weekend. So I want to read some stuff. Overwatch is coming to Switch. Ah, fuck. Spoilers in the last place I expected them. Bunch of stuff got announced. It was quite a meaty direct, all things considered. We're not going to talk about everything. There was a new trailer for Animal Crossing. There was a new trailer for Luigi's Mansion 3. We're here to talk about the cool stuff, fun stuff. And the bit where I was like legitimately freaked out. Can you guess which bit that was? He's gonna make
there's something about Deadly Premonitions, didn't there?
Deadly Premonition 2 is coming to Switch in 2020. Deadly Premonition. This game holds a Guinness World Record, right? For being the most divisive video game of all time. Like, as I found out after I'd freaked out that this was happening. Destructoid gave it a 10. IGN, I think it was IGN, gave it a 2. Like, and you know what? I can see both sides of that. Deadly Premonition is one of those games that I played when it came out on Xbox 360, and I fucking loved it. It's got some problems. Like,
got Sinner Sandwich for one.
I mean, the Sinner Sandwich is amazing. I mean, gameplay problems, but it's just, it's everything I wanted in a weird Japanese open world survival horror game. But I played it, I finished it, and I was like, they're never going to make another one of these. Only about 12 people bought it. And it's gained a cult following over the years. And then Nintendo were just like, hey, you know how we sometimes rescue franchises, like, and put them on the Switch? Here's Deadly Premonition 2. And there's me in the chair like, this is the greatest thing that's going to happen in this direct. By far. Deadly Premonition's Origins, the first one, is available on Switch right now. Everybody should go play it. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's one of the weirdest games I've ever played in my entire life.
I've seen enough videos of it to know it's plenty weird.
Oh, it's so strange. But it's so cool. If you like Twin Peaks, you'll love Deadly Premonition. Just put the combat down on it easy. Not because it's hard, but just because it's kind of annoying. But man, like, you talk about Kojima Unchained, and like, I'm talking about Swery Unchained. Like, Deadly Premonition is just Death Stranding. Death Stranding, yeah. Like, it's probably like, it was probably made in the old. It's probably an altered world item. They probably found it in the Ocean View Motel. But I'm so pumped. Like, immediately, one of my most anticipated games for 2020. Sit down, Final Fantasy 7. Sit down, Animal Crossing. Take a hike, Cyberpunk. Dead Premonition 2 is where it's at. It's either going to be amazing or it's going to be terrible. It's nothing. It's not going to be anything in between. As I mentioned before, Overwatch is coming to Switch on October 15th with gyro controls. Keith, would you kind of speculate on what the fuck that could possibly mean?
Well, as I informed Russell when he was playing Mario Kart when he was here, the controllers do have that sort of motion control system in it. So if they've actually enabled that on the Switch for the Overwatch thing, I've got no idea how that's going to... why am I running slightly to one side? Oh, right, it's because I've slightly lent the controller in that direction.
Oh, God. I hope that's not it. That can't be it. It can't be about movement. But, like, maybe you activate your ultimate by just, like, flicking the Joy-Con in the air or something. Which would be kind of cool, really, because, like, one of my main problems with activating ultimates is on a normal gamepad, like, I have to have my thumb here, and the button is there. So I can't, like, aim and activate at the same time.
That might be kind of alright if you're, say, like, doing Summitra's ultimate. But, say, if you wanted to, like, target someone's ultimate, like, with Moira, where you fire him a beam out your hand,
well, yeah,
and you did that.
It just activates, right? So you're still, like, aiming with the stick. You want aim. Jesus Christ, no aiming with the gyro controls. Please, for the love of fucking God, no aiming with the gyro controls. Because this is the thing, like, Overwatch isn't, like... You've got 30 characters at this point. They all play really vastly differently from one another. So it's kind of like, you can't just, like, aiming. I mean, yeah, okay, fair, but not all characters shoot things. Like, they don't all have guns, right? Maybe you just in Genji, you just do your ultimate and you just slash the sword. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you just jump, but I just like blows. Like, I was like, Overwatch on Switch, that'll be interesting, and then it was like with gyro controls. And it's like, how do you do gyro controls? That doesn't seem possible. That doesn't seem possible. I can't tell whether he keeps looking something up or he's not, and I'm safe to move on.
Yeah, no, I was just double checking the number of Overwatch heroes. There's at least 30.
I think it's 30. You should know, you did the Christmas quiz and caught us all out that one time.
Yeah, I know, I was double checking on that one, which is why I think there's 31, because I never added that new one, the black hole dude.
Yeah, from now on, he's the black hole dude. Sigma. There's no Sigma in Overwatch.
I've not actually played it since his launch trailer came out.
There's the black hole dude. Sidebar a second. Do you remember a few weeks ago we were talking about Gamescom and what was happening at Gamescom? Wasn't Blizzard supposed to be doing a thing? Because I heard nothing about that.
I don't remember hearing anything from Blizzard, so I was expecting to hear like for BlizzCon.
Because the only reason I remember it was because they were talking about there was going to be an Overwatch animated shot. And I just suddenly remembered when you were talking about it, I was like, I hadn't
was it the one about it. I've seen animated. It was just like the same one they did for the original Dude Fist thing, which is sort of like animation. It's not that, like the animated shorts like for May or Bastion or anything. It was just
okay. So it was just not. It was just nonsense. Fair enough. That'll be why I never heard anything out of it.
For that, there was the one for Sigma where you hear the music.
I mean,
it's like tied up and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when they say animated shot, I'm expecting, I don't know, an animated shot in the same vein as the other ones. But Blizzard, too busy making Overwatch 2, a game that definitely needs to exist. Super Nintendo games have started releasing for Switch Online members. 20 were released on the day. That's possibly the biggest shadow drop we've ever had in video game history. 20 games available now. They include Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Yoshi's Island, Star Fox, and a bunch more. They're exclusive to Switch Online members. There's also a controller. They've re-released the Super Nintendo controller, which there was a patent for, so I kind of figured they would. This is pretty cool. Like, they're slowly expanding their back catalogue of games. Like, Nintendo and video game preservation. I mean, those two things haven't gone together historically in the past. Despite them having, like, the coolest, biggest library of first-party games to draw upon. Like, if Xbox backwards compatibility was only Xbox first-party titles, no one really gave a shit. Let's be fair. It's kind of cool. I like it. It's neat. Now everyone's screaming for the N64 games, and it's just like, you guys realize that you know how Nintendo operates, right? You know how Nintendo operates. They're going to release all this stuff. NES games, SNES games, maybe N64 games, maybe GameCube games. They don't need to do it for Wii U games, because they're just re-releasing every single fucking one on the Switch as a remaster. But once they release their next console, all of that shit won't work on the new console. And you're just going to have to buy it in perpetuity. Because that's the Nintendo way. That's why I don't buy any of this stuff. I love these games. I'd love to have these games, but I'm sick of buying Majora's Mask over and over and over.
Wow, you might not be looking forward to the next Nintendo Zelda game.
I mean, that trailer was cool, but
yeah.
Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury is coming to Smash Brothers in November. Banjo-Kazooie is available right now, and there are more DLC characters coming after the first Challenger Pack. So, how big's the roster on Smash Brothers? There's a fuckload of characters. There's one more to be announced after Terry Bogard. Never played Fatal Fury, so I don't care about Terry Bogard being in it. And there's going to be an undetermined number of characters. There's going to be a Challengers Pack 2, basically, with probably like another 5 characters, let's say. Can Sakurai basically just get whoever he wants at this point in Smash Brothers?
Just like early next year, it's just like we'll see a Smash Bros. Announcement, and it's like Xander, and then this drop pod land, and the Master Chief gets out.
That's what everybody was saying about the one where it was Banjo was revealed. Everybody was like, Microsoft are definitely gonna have a character. It's gonna be the Master Chief. No, it's gonna be Banjo. Why? Because the Master Chief really doesn't fit in with Super Smash Brothers, and Banjo does. Ori would be an awesome character to have in there. Tracer, super popular choice that nobody on the internet was already complaining about, despite the fact that she was just rumored. That everybody was 100% on board with that rumor. If there was an Overwatch character coming to Smash Bros., which one would be the best one? Which one would you want to see in Smash Brothers? Translated from that one to another.
Probably the easiest one to do would be Reinhardt.
Reinhardt would be cool. Reinhardt even shield work.
Tracer's is the it's like your block, isn't it? Tracer's like the poster girl for Overwatch.
She's the cover art.
Yeah.
I guess. I think she's still the cover art.
Yeah.
She's
also on the league icon.
I mean, Genji would be the easiest because she's got sword and shurikens, but also the most boring. Hanzo would be interesting if they just went like, "Hey, we've got a full-on archer in the game, not just like Link, who occasionally shoots a bow. Who I will occasionally shoot a bow, like to try and stop people getting back onto the plot, like a full-on like."
His ult would be a bit like the Wii Fit trainer.
Yeah.
Just goes across the screen.
Dragon. and then everybody
Yeah.
can feel the pain of veteran Overwatch players whenever they hear that fucker. Be like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
especially if he
watching
screams the
magical."
line.
No! Fuck! I hate you so much. It's like, you fired that from your fucking spawn, and I was coming out of my spawn, and I got killed by it because it travels the entire fucking level and doesn't lose any potency. And it came through the wall right in front. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Like, I don't even own Smash, we play Smash. I play Smash on your Switch, and you don't own any of the DLC characters, and I'm fine with that. But I like the guessing games, and I like seeing who they pick up, and that's the fun part to me. I'm never going to play anyone who's not Link. Like,
Yeah.
I'm setting
You've
up
got
my
like
Smash
three
Bros.
options, but you're still going to be playing like
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Toon
what
Link.
else do we have?
Link.
Young Link, I think, is the one I've been playing recently. Because his bombs actually explode. They don't have to shoot them. The Pokemon dev's next game is called Little Town Hero, coming October 16th. It's a JRPG with music composed by Undertale creator Toby Fox. The Undertale soundtrack, by the way, fucking great. Really, really good. I mean, it's a great game. It wasn't, as voted for by GameFAQs.com, the greatest game of all time. Thanks for getting everybody's expectations up who didn't play it immediately on launch, and then we were all kind of a little bit low-key disappointed with the game, though. So many people, man. Undertale's the greatest thing that's ever existed. I mean, how do you
still get a love.
How do you shield yourself from that, though? It's like, I went into that game like 2 or 3 weeks after it came out, and it was like, because of the way everybody had been talking about it for those first 2 or 3 weeks, it literally couldn't meet the expectations that everybody else had set for it. So I just went in and I was like, it's really good, but it's not the best thing I've ever played in my entire life, which is weird. Trials of Mana release date announced April 24th, 2020. 2020 is going to kill us, basically.
Yeah.
Trials of Mana looks cool. It's going to be one of those games where it's like, it's not going to be like top 10 game of the year, but it's going to be good. Like, it's going to be solid. It looks like a really cool remake, and I'm really looking forward to it. Here's a random one for you, though. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast is coming September 24th to the Switch. Not the first Jedi Knight, which was also the second Dark Forces game. Not Dark Forces. Jedi Knight 2. Jedi Knight 2. Jedi Outcast 2. No. Jedi Academy? No. Jedi... Why'd start in the middle?
I'm gonna guess it's something to do with the way the coding is. Maybe kind of difficult to get it onto the Switch, and this is the one that would be easier because it's more modern.
I think this was the one I remember that was installed on PCs at PC World when I was a kid, and I used to have to entertain myself in the very early 2000s, late 90s. These are all games.
Yeah.
Jedi Academy was the last one in the series, and I played that when I was in university. So they're really good, though. Like, they do lightsaber combat better than any other Star Wars game. But just found it weird. Like, I mean, I find the naming conventions weird. Star Wars Dark Forces, Star Wars Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Star Wars Jedi. You see where I'm going with this? Jedi Outcast 2.
Instead of going 3 and 4, they went.
Yeah. So Dark Forces 3, Jedi Knight 2. I'm already getting confused. They're good games, though. Like, if you want to play on your Switch, probably won't work at launch because Switch has become what PC was in the early days of this generation, and that a lot of games come out and they just don't really work properly for a little bit. Like Gears 5 and the Uplay subscription launch, they both fucked up. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore coming next January with new story elements, a new song, and new characters. Parrick will be happy with that.
That's a long name.
He was just talking about this, I'm sure, on Hall of Fame. When we were not the game. I mean, he didn't nominate the game, but I'm sure when we were talking about Final Fantasy VII, he mentioned. I feel like he's mentioned it in the very recent past Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It was a crossover, right? Because the FE stands for Fire Emblem.
All right.
And Tokyo Mirage Sessions is TMS, and that backwards is SMT. It's Shin Megami Tensei crossed over with Fire Emblem. I remember being intrigued, but never actually playing it. And yeah, that is really convoluted, but that's the literal truth of of how this game was named.
Why?
The on-call part's new. Because you can't just call it remaster or remake or 2. No, it has to have a weird name. Just ask Kingdom Hearts 2.8. And all the rest of the nerd. Doom 64 is coming on November 22nd. Skyrim must be selling well on the Switch. Because Bethesda are porting everything.
Yeah. The thing, what's that 64 stand for again?
Nintendo 64?
This is what I'm thinking, and it's like the 64-bit. It must be the 64-bit version.
Yeah, it's Doom 64. Yeah. But did they just release... Because they just released the original Doom, right?
They just released the original, and I think Doom 2 as well, I'm not sure. I think they released Doom 2.
I feel like they did.
So yeah, it looks like all of Bethesda's works is coming to Switch.
Just looking down the back of the couch to see what other retro games they can find that they can re-release.
It's Quake.
Quake. The original Wolfenstein, even though you can play that in its entirety inside Wolfenstein 2.
That was a dream sequence, wasn't
it? In the first one, it was a dream sequence. It was cool. I don't remember it being in the second one. It might not have been there. But in the third one, it's not the third one. Well, Youngblood. There's an arcade machine where you can play one of them. They're really difficult. Not because they're necessarily difficult games, but because first-person shooters from the 90s don't really control all that well. Yeah, aiming is not easy in those games. It's a whole thing. So what is Bethesda going to re-release next? My money's on Skyrim, but that's the safe, easy bet.
Skyrim Ultimate Edition Remastered. Wait, what?
Now available Skyrim VR for Switch. Labo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Skyrim 4D. Actually going to port you into the world of Skyrim. Wait, what?
What? Sucked into your Switch.
Based on the world-renowned anime Sword Art Online. Whoa, hang on a second, yeah, Bethesda.
I mean, they don't really have very many paths. Since they released the game on Alexa, they don't really have any very many paths they can take left, unless they do actually release it on for like smart fridges, which has been the running joke. Like, there's nowhere they can go. To re-releasing Skyrim, it's like, if you take all the effort they've made in re-releasing Skyrim 37 times, they probably could have had the new one out by now.
Yeah, I'm just expecting to see it available on my phones.
Is it not already available on phones? I know there's Elder Scrolls Blades, but it's Skyrim. Is it already available on phones? It can't be. Your phone would melt. Skyrim
mobile ?
Mobile. The Elder Scrolls. No, it's just Blades.
Only the Skyrim version, the extra version that can go on your mobile so far.
So far. Oh, you know they're doing it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We've got actual news stories to talk about. So let's do that. NBA 2K20's loot boxes aren't gambling? You wouldn't know from this trailer. This is from Owen Escott over at Polygon, who writes, 2 years ago, the president of the publishing company over the NBA 2K series said they don't view the card packs and loot boxes it offers as gambling. You wouldn't know it after watching the remarkably tone-deaf trailer for NBA 2K20 that 2K Sports put out 2 weeks ago now. Touting the feature set for My Team, the basketball behemoth's version of Ultimate Team, 2K Sports put out a video that literally depicts pachinko and slot machines. NBA 2K streamers Cash Nasty and Chris LSK London excitedly open packs of virtual cards, pull slot machine levers, and, in Cash's case, deploy obscene amounts of body English to guide a ball drop into a big paying bucket. If that's not enough, there's a good old-fashioned prize spin wheel too. Some of this stuff isn't new. The special card packs shown being opened have been the basis of My Team since it was introduced in NBA 2K13. The prize wheel has been around in various forms before, including in the associated My Park/My Career mode. Some of what's in this trailer is sort of new. The ball drop was added to the game last year. The slot machine belongs to the triple threat game type that also debuted with NBA 2K19. So there's still some built-in tolerance for the way My Team and My Career have doled out rewards over the years. If you want to know why fan reaction is now negative, side-eyed at best, here's the My Team promotional trailer for NBA 2K19, and it is exactly as I've just described it. It features more gameplay and basketball action and fewer YouTube influencers cheering like they're at a Caesar's Palace craps table. NBA 2K20's new trailer is basically just more in your face about it, and definitely portrays 3 in a row on a slot machine as this mode's idea of excitement and fun. That may land it in some kind of congressional hearing next year if Senator Josh Hawley can move a bill banning exactly these kind of things.
Yeah. So, I thought it was a roulette wheel, the prize wheel at the beginning with. They had the pachinko machine and the card pack spinning around, opening and stuff. And I was just watching it, and then I was like, I'm not even gonna look as the roulette wheel, it's the one-armed bandits on. I'm like, can this just not just be put up next time, the EA gets called before MPs or something? And you can just put up this advert. This is an advert for your game, which includes these not gambling mechanics, these prize mechanics. Just look at that video, and how many seconds do you think it would take the MPs to go, no, that's definitely gambling.
I mean, that's definitely
gambling.
Yeah, 100%. I get there's differences between real gambling and what is shown in the NBA 2K20 trailer, but I mean, it's our job to get the differences. It's not an MP's job to get the difference. They're not going to care.
Bingo is a form of gambling, right?
Bingo.
There is a form of bingo in this country at the moment. I can't remember what the name is, but my sister went to it the other day. Where instead of winning cash prizes, you win physical prizes. So you might win a fridge, or
I don't know what I was expecting you to say there, but a fridge wasn't.
or a large pack of different cereals and stuff. It's weird.
To put it in the fridge.
I think the fridge was the house, whereas other things are lines, smaller prizes are for the lines, and then you get a large prize for the
fridge was the ultimate prize.
For that round, yeah. And I was just like, okay, fair enough. And then I'm like, does it? I mean, where do you start drawing the line? Because it is so obviously depicted as gambling. All of those machines are known as gambling machines.
Yeah. I mean, where do you find slot machines? In casinos and pubs, if you're in the UK. But we're not talking about the UK right now. They're just being so blatant about it. It makes it impossible to have a discussion about, because you just gotta look at it and just be like, that's what we've been talking about. They just went out and said it. They just went ahead and said it. All this stuff about, we don't believe that loot boxes and ultimate teams and card packs are gambling. But here's a ball drop game and here's a slot machine. I mean, is this parody gone wrong? Or it's do you care actually?
This is someone not reading the memo.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that there's the part of EA, because EA is a massive company, who is going to these hearings, the congressional hearings.
This is 2K.
And all right. What EA?
No, that would be the other NBA. I did NBA Live. This is 2K
Oh,
games.
yeah.
I mean,
there's
yeah.
like the people saying that these like things is good. Okay, yeah. So I totally not gambling. But I totally not like gambling. And then someone's like, this MB's on the phone. It's like, this looks like a gambling site.
What's
I mean,
this?
yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Like, I mean, you're making it way too easy for us. Like, and you're gonna make it way too easy for Senator Josh. What was his name? Hawley. Who's gonna be like, who's making a bill? Someone's making a bill to ban microtransactions and loot boxes on the basis that they're gambling.
Yeah.
And you have a leg to stand on to say that, well, they're not like until the United States or like any lawmakers like redefine the the definition of gambling. You've got a half a leg to stand on to say this isn't gambling. Not if you do this. Like, not if you go, look at all that gambling. Isn't it fun? Look at all these streamers whose audiences are probably primarily under 18 years old, enjoying the gambling. Lunatics. They're lunatics. Were they just trying to burn it all down? And somebody
It would be hilarious if that was actually like 2K was trying to like bankrupt EA.
If like 2K, is someone at 2K just gone, you know what? There's only one way we're going to take down this shitty microtransaction loot box economy in video games, and that's just to make it as fucking obvious as possible so that we get banned. I mean, that's not what's happened. Like, 2K have been notorious for the shitty microtransactions in their previous NBA 2K games. There was that whole thing last year where the fucking storefront looked exactly like the free-to-play games, you know, with the coins and stuff. And like,
yeah.
Do you know what's amazing, though? Like, what's incredible about this whole discussion we've had for, what, the last 5-6-ish minutes? Like, we've been talking about... The game we've been talking about is NBA 2K20.
Yeah.
Haven't mentioned basketball once. Is this still a basketball game? I don't know.
I mean, it could be basketball.
It could be. What if it's not, though? What if it's a lie? I wonder if you spend more time playing basketball in NBA 2K20 or more time doing this stuff. Like all the other stuff. Like in the My Team mod or My Career mod, whatever it's called. Where it's like, because you're trying to get the best players by the cards, I assume. I only know how FIFA Ultimate Team works because of loot boxes. If it's the similar sort of thing, I wonder if you spend more time in getting card packs and playing the games to get the sweet loot drops than actually playing basketball in the basketball game.
I would leave that one to you because I'm not really cognizant.
Yes, and I am famously a basketball fan who's played all of the basketball games.
Well, no, for sports games is where I was going, but I quite lost the word there.
Sports games. What was the last sports game I played? Probably Rocket League. And that's a made up
sport. Going off that, then mine was Pyre.
Yeah. That's a made up sport. It was a real sport. An NHL game many years ago.
We both played that, like, you know, arcade game of the NBA thing.
That was a long time ago as well. I don't know if that counts. We played like one match. And let's be fair, we weren't exactly knowing what the fuck we were doing. Sorry about that. I guess 2K Games infiltrated my computer and decided to make me sound like Satan to discredit me. I did actually hear it. Like, as I was listening back, I was like, Jesus Christ. You know what it sounded like? It sounded like, you remember when Xbox Live was first a thing and they had voice masks?
Yes, the voice mask.
Russ used to use his voice mask exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Anyway, luckily we stopped at a very convenient location. So let's continue. You keep an ear out on my pitch. Let me know if my pitch shifts again while I read this. Number 3. Chucklefish responds to allegations that it exploited Starbound's contributors. This is from James Batchelor over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, Chucklefish has issued a statement responding to multiple accusations that it took advantage of unpaid volunteers who assisted with the development of Starbound. The incident came to light when one of the game's writers, Damon Reese, tweeted that they worked hundreds of hours on the game and wasn't paid a single cent. They were 16 years old at the time. Reese noted there were around a dozen other unpaid workers on the project. Sure enough, similar claims emerged from graphic artist Roy Watson and concept artist Christine Crossley, while composer Clark Powell reveals he turned down the chance to work on Starbound when he learned it was unpaid. Chucklefish has issued a statement to PC Gamer emphasising that everyone was credited or remunerated as per their agreement. Quote, "We're aware and saddened by the current allegations against Chucklefish regarding Starbound's early development," the studio wrote. During this time, both the core crew and community contributors were collaborating via a chat room and dedicated their time for free. Community contributors were under no obligation to create content, work to deadlines, or put in any particular number of hours. End quote. Reese has since responded to this, telling PC Gamer that deadlines were absolutely in place, if not formal, then definitely heavily implied. "I was a naive newcomer to the industry and my trust was utterly betrayed," they continued. "There is no moral defense for this." Much of the frustration stems from the fact that Starbound went on to sell more than 2.5 million copies and fueled the growth of Chucklefish. In its statement, the company insists it has grown into an indie studio that has a strong emphasis on good working practices, providing a welcoming environment for all employees and freelancers. "Our doors remain open to any related parties who wish to discuss their concerns with us directly," it concluded. Reese maintains it is massively unethical to allow anyone to contribute significantly to a project while unpaid when the leaders of the team are, quote, "walking away with millions of dollars in personal revenue share. If your game sells over 2.5 million copies and your only excuse for not treating people ethically is, but the dozens of teenagers whose labour we exploited signed contracts, you may need to do some soul searching," end quote. Spicy last sentence.
That is a spicy last sentence. And the first thing I thought of about this was, you won't get money, but you'll get exposure.
Yeah,
Because that kind of sounds like what this was.
100%.
You'll get exposure. And in an industry which uses, freelancers a lot and like the short-term contracts and stuff, exposure is just like another like further level. It's like, oh, if you do this, you might get a freelancer contract next time.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's
Maybe we'll pay you for the next game. It's pretty shitty. That is pretty shitty.
I, hand on heart, have no idea what these people were doing. What sort of contracts they signed, and what sort of hours or like workload they were getting. I have worked as a volunteer before. Usually in some sort of charitable organization. Occasionally, because my university course required me to volunteer for the 3 years I was there. Well, mostly it's the first 2 years. The third year was definitely optional, but you were required to do at least 2 weeks voluntary work on archaeological sites because I trained to be an archaeologist. And I had to pay for that, but I very much understood why that was happening and what was going on. Because I was helping fund archaeology digs and stuff, and it was part of my course and stuff. I don't know what these people were doing, but the fact that teenagers, it might have been part of like some like school program to get them part of the industry. But I would be very concerned about the school setting up children to do that if that's what happened, and I don't know because I don't know these individuals.
I mean, on the one thing, for the first thing that you said, when you went to volunteer at the charity shop, and I'm intimately familiar with this because I volunteered at the charity shop across the street. You were volunteering to work for a charity. Like, the charity was making money, but it was making money for the charity. It was all going to charity. It wasn't a private enterprise making a product that sold 2.5 million copies, which would have made quite a bit of money. The other thing, community contributors were collaborating via a chat room and dedicated their time for free. It wasn't a school project or anything like that. It sounds like it was a smaller scale, sort of what Ubisoft have been doing and getting some shit for. You know, when they did the whole thing with Beyond Good and Evil 2. Like, and it's like, oh, like, we need music for the game. Everybody send us your music, and we might put it in the game for, you know, and you'll get exposure and stuff. It sounds like a less formal version of that, where a bunch of fans have just gone, oh, like, let's make stuff for the game, and but it was a bit more organized than just fan art that they put in the game,
Yeah,
like
I
as an
mean,
example.
yeah, I'm just thinking what Ubisoft did there. And it's like you have to be really careful you don't get suddenly slapped with a copyright claim from someone who didn't submit their stuff and someone else.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
imagine they're very careful about that. They would need
yeah.
to
It's
be.
not like there's like a company would use like the artwork from another game's promo work in their trailer.
No, not at all. That was actually that was
Yes,
actually
it was.
Ubisoft's art that got used. Yes, wow, that was old. That's old school reference. That was years ago. Damn,
Yeah.
we both remembered it because it was hilarious and weird. But no, this Chucklefish thing, like, yeah, it just, I mean,
Every time you say Chucklefish,
Chucklefish.
it sounds like such an insult. It's not.
It's the name of the studio.
Because there in Britain, if you're unaware, there is a not often used insult which is chuckle, and it's another word beginning with F.
Fudge.
It's normally like used to describe a load of idiots. You bunch of
Or
and it's
the Prime Minister. Now, how do you feel about this? The last the thing that reset at the end, though.
it very much implies that this author is very against this practice.
I mean, I'm very against this practice at face
Yeah,
value.
paid in exposure, apart from being a album by Nathan Sharp, is not something that I really agree with, and it's something that's kind of on the rise with companies saying that they'll, oh, well, you can do this, you do this for us, and we'll give you exposure. It's to use like words I've I've heard before, kind of skeevy.
That's one way to do it. That's one way to say it. Kind of
Yeah.
skeevy. Exposure's bollocks. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I get paid in exposure. I'd rather just get paid in money.
Yeah.
Like, personally.
I follow a lot of artists. I follow artists from the same way that Amy follows
Everyone.
producers and games developers. So I often see hilarious bits of art of people hitting back at people small indie startup companies, and sometimes there's companies saying that there'll be no remuneration for their work. They'll just get paid in exposure. And sometimes I see hilarious pictures of people going, "Oh yes, exposure! I can eat this."
Yeah, no, I see it all the time. Like, people post their DMs and stuff. Like a Twitch streamer, I'll message DM an artist and be like, "Oh, I need like emotes or channel art or whatever," and then they'll get the price. Like, the artist will tell them how much this will cost, and then the person's response is, "Oh, but I've got 10,000 followers. Like, it'll be great exposure for you." Like, fuck off, mate. Like, I've had 2 people do art for Words About Games, the YouTube channel, the Twitch channel, and both times I have offered to pay them. Like, they're not professional artists. They don't make money off of their art, but at the same time, I was like, look, I will pay you for this, because I don't want you to be just working for me and not get paid in terms of doing art stuff unless you already agree to it in advance. Sorry, Keith. You get paid when I get paid.
I'm only in this for the pension.
You're in this for the exposure. I've exposed you to plenty of really nice alt-right trolls and gamergate dickheads. Like, what more do you want?
It's amazing to me that the introvert of the group is actually. Wait, no, we all 3 introverts pretty much. Anyway.
We are, yeah. Like, it's weird that we've managed to successfully start a podcast. But yeah, no, like, get paid in exposure. Like, they even said it. Like, you can tell they're dancing around the fact that they didn't pay a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Because they Chucklefish the actually say, like, specifically, everyone was credited or remunerated as per their agreement.
Yeah.
So it was a case of like, well, not everybody was remunerated then. So this is kind of what happened. And 16-year-olds are dumb. Trust me. I was a 16-year-old
Yeah,
once
this
and I
is
was a fucking idiot.
yeah. There's that old red versus blue thing shirt says, which is, I like, how smart were you 10 years ago? You're that dumb now. You just have to wait 10 years to figure it out. Um, it is a thing. I kind of believe Chucklefish when they say that they've remunerated or credited everyone to what it says in the contract.
100%.
But I 100% believe that a lot of the people who signed those contracts had no idea what they're signing, because I still don't understand my work contract. There are contracts, like even be the work contracts, like mortgage forms, that are very complicated things, which often reference things which aren't in your contract.
Yeah. But
And
also,
when you're signing them, you're often like, I just need a job.
yeah, I need money. Are you going to pay me money? Yes. Cool. I'm in. But yeah, no, like they probably did get them to sign contracts that said they weren't going to get paid, but
Yeah,
that's not necessarily a good thing. Like, we gave them
yeah,
the exposure that we agreed upon. Like, cool. But you get why people are still mad, right?
yeah. It's like, I mean, maybe Chucklefish felt that they really needed this work to get this game launched and stuff.
But then they
And
couldn't.
I can definitely see why the people will be annoyed now this means such a success.
Yeah, exactly. The bit that
But it,
sticks in people's paws is it was such a successful game.
yeah, it is just like, it just brings to light more unethical business practices.
Welcome to the
Because
games industry.
yeah, it's like, were these non-paid see, the Chucklefish isn't in the UK, because I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
if you're under
They're a UK game publisher. Chucklefish. I'm quite familiar with them. I know someone who used to
uh,
work there. It's a British game developer and publisher based in London, founded in 2011 by Finn Bryce. The company specializes in retro style games.
I don't know why I thought they were actually Chucklefish. The name Chucklefish now makes more sense if they're a British company, but I don't know why I thought they were American. I'm just thinking because there's obviously UK employment laws about how long you can have someone under the age of 18 working for you per week.
Indeed.
They get additional break times and stuff as well, because it's something we have to deal with a lot around Christmas. But
I
yeah,
don't know. I feel like that's beside the point. But yeah, no. Like, I don't think anything untoward may have happened there.
no, I was just saying it's like it's just it's the whole barrel of worms when you like employ someone under the age of 18 anyway.
Yeah. Well, employed.
Yeah, because if they're not getting remunerated, do they count as employees? I don't know.
Who knows? They worked on Starbound though, and they didn't get any money for it. 2.5 million is a lot of copies. Somebody got rich. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Number 4. Valve's unfair comment about Metro Exodus on the Epic Store wasn't meant to incite gamers. This is from Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer, who writes, the process of making Metro Exodus an Epic Game Store exclusive did not go especially smoothly. The big issue is that the game had been up for pre-purchase on Steam for quite a while up to that point, and the move to the Epic Game Store seemed to leave those who had put their money down on it, and those who wanted to, out in the cold. A compromise was eventually reached where people who had already purchased the game on Steam would still get it there, but it was a mess, and the reaction among some disappointed fans was predictably ugly. A message posted on the Metro Exodus Steam page seemed to exacerbate the upset by emphasizing that Valve, unlike another PC store, was on the side of the gamers. Quote, we think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15th release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everyone know, end quote. But Valve business developer Nathaniel Blue recently told Kotaku that fanning the flames wasn't the intent of the message at all, and that it hasn't put up similar messages on the Steam pages of other games that have decided to go Epic exclusive because it didn't want to contribute to that kind of backlash again. Quote, in the future, we didn't continue to do that because our goal is not to upset the community or light anyone's hair on fire. Our goal is to get developers close to customers, have a really valuable place for people to play games, and stay focused on that, end quote. Regardless of the messaging, review bombs on Steam remain a problem. Valve had some success with anti-bombing measures rolled out earlier this year, and while Blue didn't say specifically that more changes are coming, he described Steam user reviews as a work in progress. And then the only other bit that's relevant to what we want to talk about is at the end. Blue also said that he wasn't sure that Valve would go back and change how it handled the Metro Exodus situation, even if it somehow could. It definitely doesn't appear to incline to. The message is still posted on the Exodus Steam page. Thoughts?
I mean, we covered this at the time when it happened, and there was a lot of backlash. And yeah, they don't seem to be wanting to continue to egg people on, because that's just an own goal, really, because they're just inciting.
Yeah, especially considering how vicious it's gotten over the last few announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they probably saw which way the wind was blowing in that regard, and were just would not be a good idea to continue to get involved in this.
Well, no, because let's say they don't moderate the forum. Yeah. So if they started putting up messages like this, it wouldn't, and it kept fanning the flames. There may be cause for someone to go in and say, listen, this company is getting their consumers to harass us for not being on their storefront. Just look at their own forums, and you'll see people suggesting the kills and stuff, and they've done nothing.
Yeah.
And that would not go well for Valve in court.
No, definitely not. And it wouldn't be a hard line to draw, considering
here's their message. Here's the forum pages where they've done nothing to prevent these people from doing this. They're sharing home details to employees. They would end up losing a lot of money in court fees and payouts if that happened. So I can definitely see that they wouldn't continue this.
No, we've seen it in. I mean, we've seen the worst that people have to offer on this topic with the Ooblet stuff. It was last month, I think, or the month before. You know, with the whole gas chambers doctored tweet and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, I said at the time when Valve put this statement out that I kind of agree with them in terms of the intent of their message. It was unfair because the game was available for pre-purchase. It was kind of unfair that people who were pre-purchasing the game were suddenly looking at a release date 1 year further away than what they had been promised. I mean, there's a really easy solution to that. Don't be an idiot and pre-purchase games. But that's just me. But
you're going the Ooblet route there.
No,
don't engage them like this. They'll get mad.
I don't care. They're already mad. But yeah, I'm not I read that statement and go, yeah, Steam, Valve, Gabe, Nathaniel, you're absolutely right. It was unfair. But, I'm not a full-fledged lunatic who then decided that, well, how many times have we talked about the Epic Game Store and the inevitable response to an exclusive games announcement for them? We're reaching the point of the exclusivity period's ending, though. Because Ashen's coming out in December, because it's been a year since it came out on the Epic Games Store. No Steam, no sale. That didn't happen. But yeah, it's I don't know if I believe him in what he's saying. I think that's what they were trying to do the first time. The fanning the flames comment, I mean. I think that's what they were trying to do with Metro Exodus, where they were trying to fan the flames. And they found them too hard and part of their house burned down. And then they were like, we shouldn't do that again. So I believe that part where they're we don't want to fan the flames anymore. Because they did it on purpose once. And now we're in this current discourse where Shenmue 3 Kickstarter backers are getting refunds and Ooblets devs are being harassed and told to go and kill themselves because they're putting a game on a PC storefront.
Mm-hmm.
And just video games. It's just video games in 2019.
Yeah.
It's fun, right? Video games are fun.
I'm enjoying Control.
I'm enjoying playing them. But even then, that has its limits. I played Ion Fury for a bit. Should we move on?
Yeah, let's please move on.
Just in case you didn't know, it was a slow news week this week. Number 5.
Nothing's going to happen tomorrow and it's going to blow everything out of it.
Yeah, because we've had to record early, so there's going to be a massive thing happen. It's going to be like...
It's taking it all day.
Number 5. BioWare's Casey Hudson says he wants to see Anthem grow, evolve, and thrive for years to come. This is from Alex Avard over at Games Radar, who writes, Anthem, in spite of everything, is far from dead. At least according to BioWare General Manager Casey Hudson, who reaffirmed the studio's support for the game despite its troubled launch, dwindling player base, and heavily delayed roadmap. Writing in his September update blog on the BioWare website, Hudson offered more behind-the-scenes info on a bunch of games in development at the studio, including Dragon Age 4 and another mystery project, but began the post with an optimistic statement regarding Anthem's future. Quote, we have a big team working on Anthem in both Austin and Edmonton, and while it's been great to see the community response to Cataclysm, I know there's a lot more work to do to bring out the full potential of the game. We have plans for those more fundamental improvements, but they'll take time. While the team works towards the longer-term vision of the game, they will also continue to deliver updates to features and content. I believe in Anthem and would love to see its world grow, evolve, and thrive for years to come. End quote. Now, Hudson stating that he would love to see Anthem grow and evolve is very different to promising that BioWare is committed to seeing the game prosper, as it's angled as more of a tentative hope than a firm mission statement. But it's nonetheless confiding. That's what it says. It's nonetheless confiding to hear some form of response on the game after months of radio silence on from the studio. I think that's meant to say comforting.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself.
In his final remark, Hudson teases that, quote, when I look at all of the things going on around BioWare, I'm even more excited about our future than ever, end quote. Hopefully the studio's fans will soon be able to see it. Hopefully the studio's fans will also be able to say the thing after the poor taste of Anthem has faded. Be able to say the same thing after the poor taste. I just copy and paste this shit.
I've noticed in the last couple of weeks that there has been some typographical errors.
Epic typos. He also said, it's not in this news story, but I was reading about it. He also made a brief hint at Dragon Age 4, saying it was in pre-production, without actually naming Dragon Age. The Dreadwolf Rises is what he said. It's in pre-production, which means that game ain't coming out for a really long time.
Probably for the best, given how we've seen the previous games rushed by the studio.
Or it's due out in March.
If it's due out in March, that game isn't gonna be.
To be fair, it could be due out in March 2021, and it would be in pre-production now, and it would fit the timeline of BioWare's last 2 games.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's what I think's gonna happen.
But they've revealed it. Are they gonna make us wait 5 years for the game? I'm fine with that, but
yeah. I mean, I would be fine if it came out in 2022.
I'd be fine if it came out in 2024. Just take your time, guys. But the problem is they've got this Anthem weighing them down like an anvil tied around their neck.
And before that, they had Andromeda. And this was the thing which we said a few times. It's they're trying to catch up from the last mistake, and it's like the trip fall.
You know what would have been great? If Mass Effect Andromeda had come out when Anthem did.
Yeah.
Because Andromeda wasn't a terrible game. It was busted to all hell. and it definitely needed some extra time, like just for polish alone. And they probably
Yeah.
could have done a bit more to expand sort of story and lore and stuff like that. But there was a good game underneath all the crap, and like if it had come out this year, I think it would have been on par with like the first Mass Effect in terms of like the reception it got.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just, I'm flabbergasted. Like they're going to continue working on Anthem because they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because they have to. But at the same time, EA gave it all of 30 seconds at E3.
Yeah.
No time at Gamescom. They don't talk about this game in public anymore. Like we're left with, because I'm sure this isn't the first time since E3 that we've heard someone talk about, oh, we're like rebuilding the fundamentals. We really hope to build out Anthem.
Yeah, because the thing with the Cataclysm stuff started coming out and stuff, and we discussed the game loop that it was.
Yeah, you were talking about it. I didn't really see much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see much about Cataclysm, but the way you've talked about it, the way I've seen, in fact, it's not the way I've seen people talk about it. It's the lack of anyone. I haven't seen anyone talking about Cataclysm at all. Like, not even MC Fixer. I don't think he played it, and I'm pretty sure I haven't heard him talk about it because I'm pretty sure he went back to it. And it's just like, yeah, I've heard no one talk about it. So like, maybe there is good feedback, but it's probably from the 6 players who are still playing Anthem, like on the regular. Like, I mean, we've deep dived into this like a lot since February, like because the game's issues are unprecedented. Like the stuff with where it's like the stuff we learned about how the loot works, for example, how it doesn't or it didn't. I don't know how they fixed that. The roadmap, the Cataclysm, the bugs, the way it was built, the frostbite problems, the BioWare magic. Like, I don't know. Like, are they a studio just spinning their wheels? Do you think? In terms of we have to keep working on this because we have to keep working on this.
They may be contractually obliged to continue to work on it for a period of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does make me worried about BioWare.
Yeah, well, don't be too worried unless EA forces them to make a Battlefield spin-off game, and then we know their days are numbered if they do that. I mean, Ben Irving's leaving. Like, he was the new creative director for Anthem, and he's leaving the company, so that bodes tremendously well. Like, how's the studio structure at the moment? Because you mentioned that both Edmonton and Austin are both working on the game, but I thought the whole point was like Edmonton made the game and then Austin did the supported it like post launch. But then I guess if they're rebuilding the game, I guess Edmonton would step in, which probably means that Dragon Age is even further out because they're fixing Anthem. And
we started Dragon Age 4 anyway.
Yeah, and they restarted Dragon Age 4 from that really cool concept to a live service. I'm convinced Dragon Age 4 is going to be a live service game.
Yeah.
And that doesn't bode well. But we'll see. I would love to be proven wrong. That would be fantastic. Poor BioWare. You used to be so... You were the chosen one. Etc, etc. Keith, games out this week. Hit me.
Indeed. We're definitely getting into that zone of everything comes out at the end of the year. So, we have PES 2020 coming out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on September the 10th. On the same day as Blasphemous on the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Gears 5 on PC and Xbox One. Greedfall on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. That was a game I was going to look into. Walking Dead on the Telltale Definitive Series on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And then on the 13th, we have Demon X Machina on the on the Switch, and Borderlands 3 on the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I think I know which one of those two games is going to get bought more.
Yeah, of those last two, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Gears 5 is the one I'm really interested in. Like I've got my Xbox still on. Like, and it does that thing, where it goes idle, and it's got the thing down the side of the
Yeah.
screen, and
Yeah.
literally like half my friends list is playing Gears 5 right now.
Laura Bailey, the voice actress who does the voice for the woman on the box art, has gotten, I think it was yesterday, she got a Gears 5 tattoo on her wrist, on the inside of her wrist, which is like, yeah, you love to working on something when you get a tattoo of it.
Damn
I
right.
think it's been said.
I like Laura Bailey. She's cool. Borderlands 3 is coming out on Friday. Do you know what that means? The saga might almost finally be over. We've just got to ride out the launch, and then like
another Jason Schrader like thing on it,
and then the Jason Schreier story, and then like the post-launch of like Randy has Twitter back, and then we might finally be done with like all of the crazy shit. But probably not.
Home music stops playing in the background.
Probably not, because, well, how many lawsuits is Randy Pitchford currently involved in? I saw a story, even though it was a slow news week, I saw a story about Randy Pitchford, how he's just been accused of being in contempt of court, and I was just like, I just can't. I just can't with Randy anymore. Like,
it's like occasionally, like when you just say the name and it's not Randy Pitchford, it's Randy. All I can get is the James Masters going, Randy.
Randy Giles. But no, it's just like, I just couldn't. I read the story, I looked at it, and I was just like, the man, from a PR perspective of being a person in charge of a game development studio, he is a walking disaster. My heart goes out to anyone who has to work at Gearbox's PR, because Jesus, that cannot be an easy job. But
yeah, the more I learn about the games industry, the more I feel empathy for PR. People, it's not something I ever really had previously. It's like, oh, PR, they basically want you to sell stuff. No, that's marketing. Public relations are the people who have to deal with like customer complaints and making staff don't do really stupid stuff in the public eye. Yeah. And I get more and more sympathy the longer we do these, like,
they fight the fires, and
yeah,
you can tell on certain companies don't have anyone employed in PR.
I didn't fight the fire.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for episode 174 of the Words About Gamescast. Keith and I are off to go and prepare for a big, long 24-hour charity stream that has already happened by the time you'll have watched this. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. We did polls, multiple polls. I don't have all of the results for the polls yet. I'm quite nervous on one of them, because it currently is a 3-way tie. And I'm not sure how I would pull that off. But it looks like I know what game we're starting with. I need to add one more poll, I think. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks for joining me, Keith. It was fun. I got to nerd out about Daily Premonition too. And yeah, 2K games. I see you out there causing computer malfunctions because I'm talking about you. That was sarcasm, just in case you get litigious, because I know you're quite a litigious company. I don't want any private investigators coming to my house. I should probably say bye, Keith.
Bye.